Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the Internet and web page design, and we're fortunate to have with us this morning two persons to talk about the Internet and web page design. Mr. Nathaniel Perry. Mr. Perry is the academic training coordinator at Tennessee State University for the Computer Center, and along with Mr. Perry is Mr. RRobinson. Mr. Robinson is an Internet consultant. And Mr. Perry and Mr. Robinson, let me welcome both of you to the show this morning to talk about what we consider to be a very, very important and certainly a timely subject of the Internet. Before we start dealing with the Internet and web page designs, let's talk about the two of you. Let's have the two of you to give our audience some information about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in the career in terms of leading you to where you are now. Let's start with you, Mr. Perry, and of course Mr. Robinson will give us the same information later on. Okay. Let's go with you, Mr. Perry.
Well, my background starts, I graduated from Virginia State University in Petersburg, Virginia, back in 1984. And from there I went to the military and served in the military as an armor officer and as a quartermaster officer. But I think I picked up most of my computer skills when I was working as a recruiting officer at the operations center. And what we did was we built a lot of databases and did a lot of slideshows for briefings. And I really picked up on my computer skills there and decided to leave the military and landed a job at Tennessee State University, where I picked up and was able to train other faculty and staff members how to use their computer and program applications. I basically teach WordPerfect, Lotus 1, 2, and 3, and also HTML and Internet services.
Very good. Mr. Robinson, let's talk about you.
Okay. I have a background in mechanical engineering, and I'll be graduating this coming summer, August 97, from Tennessee State University. My computer background was, part due to engineering, because mainly we were required to take computer courses as far as computer languages. But specifically when it relates to the Internet, back in August of 95, I worked for a OSP, or online service provider, called VIP Online. And from that point, I learned things such as HTML, how the Internet works, and basically, I mainly do web page design, but my specialty is basically computer networking. And so from that point up to now, I decided to break up on my own and start my own company. From that point, I met Mr. Perry. I guess you could say the rest is history.
Oh, very good. And of course, Mr. Perry, let's talk about the computer, because I think in order to be able to even deal with the Internet, we certainly have to deal with the computer. There's no way to get on the Internet outside of some kind of computer. And let's look at it from the point of view of having the two of you, and of course, Ms. Perry, with your background, having the two of you to give us some information about the computer and why it's important in terms of what we're talking about today. Why is the computer important? And from that perspective, let's talk about the computer and the Computer Center at Tennessee State University.
Well, I think basically everything that we're doing today in today's society and today's business is going completely automated. If you don't know how to use the computer, you need to learn how to, because jobs now are going to require that you understand something about using a computer, whether it's a secretary being able to type using the WordPerfect or Microsoft Office, or whether it's somebody that's designing a car. They're going to have to learn how to use the computer to do so.
And so there's no way that a person could expect to really thrive in the future in terms of having a career without being involved in some way or the other, Mr. Robinson, with a computer.
Definitely. Basically what's happening between the main introduction of computers with education, the computers are basically everywhere. I mean, from the smallest matters such as liquid crystal watches to the largest matter as far as how to access the Internet. I mean, even now you can access the Internet through what's called web TV, which is basically a computer keyboard along with some more computer equipment, and from that point, using your cable provider, you can access the Internet. So, I mean, there's tons of ways to access the Internet, but the main thing now is that the computer is an undeniable way of life here in America.
Very good. When we talk about, and I think that when we talk about the Internet, that's such an intimidated word, Mr. Perry, to many people who are not involved with the computer. But let's look at it, because I think that there's no way to get around it now. Each day you find that people are dealing more and more with what they call the internet mall, the electronic commerce, and et cetera. Let's from that perspective, Mr. Perry, let's talk about the internet.
Well, the internet, you'd think that it just came about, but it's been around for quite a while. It started in the 1960s by the Defense Department, and they used it to transfer information back and forth to different offices. And that's basically what we do today is we transfer information about whether it's ourselves or about our company, about somebody else that's on television. There are lots of things that you can transfer across the internet as far as information goes, and that's basically what you're doing, whether it's in the form of pictures, in the form of sound, in the form of little what we call flicks, maybe a 15-second film clip or video. Everything can be transferred across the internet as far as that goes. That's where we've come to.
And when we talk about the World Wide Web in terms of the internet, what are we talking about here, Mr. Robinson?
We're talking about global communication, where if I'm at a computer in Nashville, Tennessee, if I want to check out a website in Japan, I can do that. And what you find a lot of times is what you have what are called mirror sites. In other words, you have a site that's overseas, say for example in Paris, France. There's a site for people who read English. There's also a site for people who read French, and then for people who may read say Spanish, there's a site for people that read Spanish. So in other words, you're talking about a global market. And I mean, with the internet can be so many things. It can be, besides computers talking to each other, you can listen to what's called internet radio, which are like radio stations over the internet, where if you have your sound card, if you have the right software, you can basically listen to a station. If we're in Nashville, Tennessee, we can listen to a station in Washington, D.C. as if we were right there in Washington, D.C. with the radio on. And the internet can be a TV station where you can actually watch a concert through the internet. There's limitless possibilities with the internet these days. And
so there's no, and as you said, there's an endless possibility. But now, in terms of pulling all of this together, why is it important that African Americans ought to be involved in the internet? Are they involved as much in the internet and in computers?
We're getting to that point. Right now, at this particular point, there was a drive called the 1 Million African American Drive, sponsored by www.everythingblack.com. They basically listed the majority of African American links. And their major push was, to show that yes, African Americans do use the internet, that we do surf the internet, and the fact is, people who design content for the internet should also recognize African Americans as part of the internet. And you can also go to like www.yahoo.com, which is a popular search engine. The African American subcategory group is like one of the largest on the internet. So it's definitely obvious that African Americans are on the internet. It's just that we have to push as far as in the area of developing the content for the internet.
And I think Mr. Perry, he mentioned several computer words, and he mentioned something about a search engine on the internet. And exactly what does that mean, and how can people take advantage of that? What does that mean?